Keith Owen was a retiring or wanted to retire early school teacher. He'd been a shop teacher for 24 years and was trying to get done a little early so he could come play with me a little more. Because I retired after 3 years of going after this for my dental practice early, and Keith and I made a bit of a business plan for him, and he started in this direction, and he did retire 2 years early from his teaching, and that was almost 20 years ago, so we've been at it a long time. Keith has done a panel here so that you can kind of review with me a little bit what this whole process really is. So we start out with a photocopiable pattern. We trace the lines and cut it in with the 699. Then we came in and we start carving the background usually. We drop the background next. Once we've got the background carved, then we come in and start shaping the individual leaves. Can you see how we've started to texture the leaves here? Then we start to round the vines a little bit and come in here to where we've all but finished the pattern up, and then drop that right in on that surface and then stain the background a little bit darker, and voila, we've got you carving in a range in a matter of hours instead of days or even years. And we can cut it clear to finish. It just looks like $1,000,000. And this is a practice piece. This isn't something that some wizard has done. This is a beginner. And we can have you to those levels very quickly with ultra high speed and a pattern. For example, once again, this is a design done by Ron Smith. He's one of the world's leading engraving designers. And this pattern is photocopied onto the mylar and then stuck down on the surface. Now here we've done something a little different, and you need to kind of pay attention to what's happened here. This is a finished surface, and we stuck that pattern down and came in and traced the lines, and once we traced the lines, then we didn't touch this again. We just carved the background down, so we reverse carved this. This is a negative carving back in here, or a relief, semi-relief kind of look. It's actually a drop relief because it's not above the surface. Now these feathers were cut out of this material and carved and glued on the surface. So that's an overlay, and this is drop relief. And every pattern and every design, from leaves to feathers to wildlife, can be done into the surface of drop relief or cut out and carved and put onto the surface itself in full relief. So obviously, without a template and a pattern, most of us would be in a world of hurt. But if I can make that pattern, stick that on, and trace these lines, we've all got a shot at doing some really beautiful stuff in a hurry. You still have to learn. I'm not trying to say this is black magic here. You got to learn to trace the lines and which cutters would I use to do the relief carving. Joe Cummings started with us about 3 or 4 years and is now a master in our program, and has done some of these pieces are absolutely unbelievable, and he still even says, I don't know all the names of the birds, but I now know what they'll do, and I can cut and carve on anything. He just finished this briefcase for the winner of the Kentucky Derby, and he billed them $4,000 for the carving of the briefcase, and the owner was so thrilled they gave him a $1,000 tip. And Joe's been in the metal building barn contracting business his whole life, and I said, Joseph, when did you ever get a $1,000 tip on the finishing of a building contract? This is a whole new world, and the hobby side of it is one thing. We got to teach you how to make it, and then we got to start talking and trying to teach you how to market it as well. This is a sample piece that Joe has carved for Tammy and I, and is in the company museum. We make a little bet with you right now that at some point you'll do one project and get all your money back on one project that you've invested in your equipment and your training. If I win that bet, I'd like one of your practice pieces, something maybe even not this fancy. Joe's gone to some incredible lengths here, but can you see how gorgeous this carving has been done here, as well as the really, really tight fish scale that's been done here? We can do basket weave and fishtail with a pattern that's just so much easier to do than normal. You would look at this and think, well, only a master could do this, and you've got to learn, but it is still something that you can do because we've got video to help you see how to do it. We do offer hands-on courses as well, so you get your equipment and get familiar with equipment. We can have you here in the 3 to 4 day training class at the company, and we guarantee these kinds of results because we know what this equipment will actually do. A lot of people that we start coaching from an amateur on into a master level of this stuff really don't understand both how to make it and also how to market it. But if you realize what's happening in the high-end hand-done world, it's just absolutely going crazy. The average sporting clay shotgun, for example, now is $8,800. So for $2,000 or $3,000 to have something put on their gun and dress it up and customize it in a way that no one else could do, the word of mouth is extremely strong in something like this, because if somebody sees it, they're going to talk about it. And so if they show up at a sporting clay or trap shooter or a hunting trip with your work, somebody's going to react that has the same grade of gun and want to have you do it on their firearm. It's a great business marketing niche.